Oregon's offense continues to open up the playbook. I think a lot of that starts with how Oregon's been running the ball. They just were dominant on the ground in this game. Racked up 212 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Bucky Irving led the way with 14 carries for 97 yards. And then Noah Whittington was right there behind him, 13 carries for 66 yards. And I think just to touch on the running backs here, man, Bucky Irving is not easy to tackle. I think that was one of the biggest things that really stood out to me in this one. We already knew about it before, we ultimately saw him play. If you watched any of the tape last year when he was at Minnesota, rather. But Bucky Irving looks like he's really established himself as the lead back for Oregon. And then Noah Whittington's right there. Like they're really complementing each other well. Their running styles, they both have a lot of burst. Love the vision that I'm seeing from both of these guys. And, I think the even bigger thing is that it doesn't stop there. You have Jordan James as a guy who's gotten in a lot as a true freshman. It looks like he's not going to redshirt if these first 3 games are any sample. And he's kind of emerging as their 3rd down, 4th down back, coming up with some pretty big plays to help keep the chains moving. So super, super impressed with this Oregon running back room. And I'd be curious to see how they stack up with the rest of the Pac-12.
Yeah, I think Irving and Whittington are absolutely the 1-2 for this Oregon team. They've really separated themselves, especially as of this week. Just having that 1-2 punch to be able to know that you have two dudes who can just go out there, grind, get you those yards. I don't think either of them have broken 100 in a game so far this year, but Bucky Irving got really close, 3 yards shy with 14 for 97. So I think he's going to break it at least once this year. I would not be surprised if it's next week with the trajectory that he's on. But Oregon showing just that multi-dimensional capabilities, and showing that it's like when you play Oregon, you've got to defend against the run and against the pass. Troy Franklin was all receiving wise. Troy Franklin out there got 84 yards on 5 targets. I think that is yes. No touchdowns, but I got that long ball of 50 yards. Chase Cota put up 38, and then Terrence Ferguson got 2 touchdowns on the day, with both of his targets. So that's pretty good if you ask me. 2 for 2 for 2 tuds. If I was a wide receiver, I would absolutely take that stat line. And they have just been rolling, and quite frankly, steamrolling teams. And kind of also a little bit going back to Bo Nix, I think really Oregon showed why he's the starter, why he's able to help lead this team. I don't know if now would be the time to talk about Ty, but I know we saw a little bit of him in there, and that's definitely when I think a lot of people in that stadium started to get almost a little bit worried, even though the closest that BYU got, I believe, was 18.
Yeah, so we can talk about that a little bit later, maybe after we get into some more stuff about the offense overall and just how they're progressing. But I think that really we got to talk about this play of the game from Troy Franklin, and I got the highlight here. It's only 10 seconds, and you can't hear it, unfortunately. But I mean, just hearing the Autzen crowd just absolutely explode after this highlight was just amazing. I mean, I feel like all that emotion was just like, that's something that they've wanted for so long. We can just let it keep going because I'm sure everyone wants to watch this play like a million times. But just the protection, stepping up in the pocket from Bo Nix, the ball placement, the elevation from Troy Franklin in this one was just awesome. You see Dante Thornton there hyping him up after the game. But that's like another story here is just Oregon's offense just keeps evolving, and they're starting to take more deep shots, getting creative. And Troy Franklin continues to make his case as wide receiver 1 for this team. And I don't think that you can really argue that. Terrence Ferguson also, we got to talk about the tight ends getting involved. Maliki Matavao had an awesome block on Bucky Irving's 36-yard run that set up the first touchdown of the day. And Cam McCormick also had a nice play in that game. Just a total wall in the protection there. So I think we're finally seeing what this Oregon offense has been capable of. The wide receiver talent has been so elite on the recruiting trail, but we just haven't seen them get utilized like they want to and like they've needed to. So it's, it kind of reminds me of what Dillingham and Lanning were saying. This is going to be a system that guys want to come play in. And after seeing these last 2 weeks, I don't think you can argue against that. It feels like they're hitting stride and they're really, really efficient and effective, and maybe above all, Mark, fun to watch.
Absolutely, yeah. This was a really fun game to watch. It's been a fun team to watch the past couple of games, and I think really Oregon fans, yeah, they've been wanting to see this since Justin Herbert. When many fans were criticizing Mario Cristobal, saying it's like, why are you just running the ball? You are wasting the talent of an NFL ready quarterback. And after seeing what we've seen Herbert be able to do in the NFL as of lately, including hurt this last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, yeah, now you're finally seeing this Oregon offense really open up under this new coaching staff. And I agree. Yeah, Troy Franklin, I think, is the number 1. He's going to be Bo's main target going forward. But yeah, you cannot count out the rest of this offense. Chase Cota had a solid day as another wide receiver, and yeah, Terrence Ferguson. All these guys really balling out and showing that this is a multidimensional team. And it's a team that is physical, that plays fast, but also physical. So kind of combining aspects of both the Chip Kelly area that we saw when Oregon was known for its speed, but also kind of seeing that SEC blend of it, seeing that rough style of play that all those SEC teams are known for. And I want to pull up the quote here actually from Coach Lanning that he mentioned at the presser when he was asked about the identity of this team, and it was, he said, where is it? Oh yeah. He said, we want to be the team that you don't want to play again. We want to be the team that when you walk onto the field, or when you walk out onto the field, you are sore and you're feeling it, felt physical. We are relentless and we just continue to nag you. There were certainly some moments where I saw today where we showed that, and there were certainly some moments we could have finished and we didn't. So looking for those moments of growth, but relentless is the big word I would look to use.
Yeah, that was an awesome quote from Lanning, just seeing that they had a goal. They wanted to, he talked earlier too, I think he opened the press conference saying that they wanted to outrush their opponent because that sends a physical message. So it doesn't seem like that's going anywhere. Oregon's kind of going to be a run first team. And I think that makes a lot of sense with the physicality that they play with. And then they wanted to stop the run. And I mean, they did stop the run a lot. We haven't gotten to the defensive part of the discussion yet, but only 61 rushing yards for BYU. So I think also the other point that I wanted to get to on this Oregon offense is they were able to, they had that one play where they lined up with Connerly, and I think it was 3 tight ends were in at one point. And, Lanning referenced it in his presser saying, we lined up, we knew we were going to run. You knew we were going to run. The whole stadium knew we were going to run. Now it's like, okay, time for you to step up and show us that you can stop it, and then we'll stop doing it. And that's what I think kind of happened where it happened with Cristobal, but sometimes there were times when he would go to the run even when it was already stopped or it wasn't working and it just kind of got dry. But I thought that was awesome. That displayed a ton of confidence. We also have to shout out the offensive line. We can't finish the offensive segment without talking about the offensive line. Ryan Walk returns in this one, but moved over to right guard because Stephen Jones wasn't able to go in this one. So Marcus Harper II gets his first career start as a Duck, and he really showed out and had a great game. We were just watching that play. If you guys are listening to this on podcast, of Bo Nix just airing it out to Troy Franklin down the field, and that man's just had a wall. I mean, TJ Bass, Marcus Harper, and Alex Forsythe just gave him the cleanest. Like, no one was within like 5 or 10 yards of that guy, and Bo Nix hesitated a little bit, but then he just uncorked it. So we're through 3 games now, Mark, and this Oregon offensive line still isn't allowed a sack. That's a huge testament to them, but also to Bo Nix, who is probably one of the slipperiest quarterbacks in all of college football. So Oregon's offensive line continues to impress. I think that was a performance that really flew under the radar against Georgia because the score was so lopsided, but they were getting like 4.5 yards of carry on the ground in that game, I think. So it's really good to see Oregon, even though they were without some guys, they were able to step up. I think we actually did have a quick injury question that I wanted to hop on and address from Mikey G. Sorry if you already talked about it, but haven't heard yet the extent to which Carwell and Flo were out. So no Byron Carwell, no Justin Flo in this one. I think that Lanny, when he was talking about Carwell, said that he was kind of day-to-day throughout the week, and that if they wanted him to go and, push it, then he probably would have been available. But clearly this Oregon running back rotation isn't going to miss a beat when just one guy goes down. And that's no slight to Carwell because he's done really well when his number's been called. But they just continue to be effective and efficient. And then no Flo. I don't think he got super specific on Flo, Mark. I don't know if you might be able to fill us in here with that, but I know that Flo wasn't able to go in this one, but it really didn't make a whole lot of a difference because they just had other guys step up. And then Lanny was talking about how he felt good about the depth that they have and just being able to have guys step up when it matters most. That was one of your takeaways as well. Looking through the let's see, really the same thing for Justin Flo. This is landing in the presser. If we had to push Justin, he was able to go through warmups today. He could have definitely contributed for us today and helped us. So it sounds like he tried to go and was kind of a game time decision. They're like, hey, let's not worry about it. And I think also with his injury history, you don't want to push him if you feel like you have that good solid depth there. And I think that they do with how many snaps Jeffrey Bassa has played, who came up with an awesome 4th down stop on that opening drive. Jackson LeDuc as well. So to answer your question, Mikey, those are kind of some of the updates that we have. If I had to speculate, I would think that they're going to be good to go next week, but we know how tight-lipped injuries are.
Yeah, basically same things that you mentioned. Yeah, I remember hearing Lanning mention the news about Caldwell and Justin at the presser. I know kind of at the beginning of the game, up in the press box, we were all looking around, seeing if we were looking over towards the Oregon sideline, trying to see if we could see Justin Flo, because we didn't see him out on the field. Then again, that guy is kind of hard to miss because of that big neck plate he usually wears coming up the back, or the top of that jersey, which is pretty cool. Makes him nice, makes him identifiable, definitely. But I do think that, yeah, these guys are going to be getting ready to go. I think, you got to be fully ready to go before you get into Pac-12 play, and you've got a tough one right off the bat against Wazoo. So they're going to definitely want everyone as healthy as they can get.